In the high-pressure world of modern business, we are often taught that leadership is synonymous with speaking. We are told that the person who leads is the person who has the most answers, the loudest voice, and the fastest response to every challenge. No, true strategic leadership is often found in the exact opposite behavior. This video explores one of the most underutilized and powerful tools in a leader's arsenal, the strategic use of silence. It is a counterintuitive approach that suggests the most influential person in the room is often the one who speaks last. One of the most common mistakes a leader can make is speaking first during a critical discussion. When you, as the person with the most authority, offer your opinion at the beginning of a meeting, you unintentionally set a boundary that few people will dare to cross. You create a ceiling for creativity. Even if you tell your team to be honest or think outside the box, your opening statement has already anchored their thoughts to your perspective. You have accidentally signaled that the goal of the meeting is to agree with you, rather than to find the best possible solution. This is the psychological phenomenon known as authority bias. People are naturally wired to align themselves with the leader to avoid conflict or appear supportive. When you speak first, you aren't getting your team's best ideas. You are getting a filtered, polished version of what they think you want to hear. Strategic silence is the only way to bypass this bias. By intentionally holding back your opinion, you force the team to rely on their own expertise, their own intuition, and their own diverse perspectives. Viewers will learn that silence is not a passive state. It is an active space-making behavior. It creates a vacuum that invites diverse perspectives to the surface. When a leader is quiet, the quieter members of the team finally feel they have the room to contribute. Often, the most valuable insights come from the people who are the most hesitant to speak over a dominant leader. By speaking last, you ensure that you have collected all the intel before you make a definitive call. You aren't just a boss, you are a facilitator of intelligence. Several meeting scenarios demonstrate the stark difference between directive leadership and facilitative leadership. Imagine a crisis meeting where a project has gone off the rails. A directive leader walks in and says, "This is what I think went wrong, and here is how I want to fix it. Does anyone have any comments?" The room will likely stay silent, or people will offer minor tweaks to the leader's plan. The responsibility for the solution rests entirely on the leader's shoulders, and the team remains passive. Now imagine the facilitative leader in the same crisis. They walk in and state the facts. The project is off track. I want to hear your raw assessment of why this happened and your ideas for the next steps. I'm going to listen for the next 20 minutes before I say a word. In this scenario, the team is forced to take ownership. They have to argue, analyze, and innovate. The leader is still in control, but they are controlling the process, not the output. This approach improves decision quality because it is informed by the collective brainpower of the entire room, not just one person's limited view. Trust, patience, and curiosity are the three pillars of this approach. You have to trust that your team is capable of finding the answer without your immediate intervention. You have to have the patience to sit through the uncomfortable silence that often happens when you first stop speaking. And you have to have genuine curiosity to listen to ideas that might contradict your own. This isn't just about being polite. It's about being effective. A curious leader is a leader who is constantly learning from their team. Leaders must understand that this approach doesn't diminish their power, it actually enhances it. When you speak last, your words have significantly more impact. Because you have listened to everyone else, your final summary and decision feel more weighed, more considered, and more respectful of the group's effort. You aren't just giving an order, you are synthesizing the collective wisdom of the team. This builds a deep sense of loyalty because people feel that their contributions actually influence the outcome. The final message of this exploration is that listening is often the most powerful leadership behavior you can display. It is an act of humility that paradoxically builds immense authority. It proves that you are confident enough in your position to not have to dominate every second of the conversation. Strategic silence allows you to see the hidden dynamics in your team, who is confident, who is struggling, and where the real friction lies. You see more because you are saying less. Another benefit of speaking last is the ability to edit the conversation in real time. As you listen, you are identifying the common themes, the outliers, and the potential risks that others might have missed. You are acting as a mental filter. By the time it is your turn to speak, you have a much more comprehensive and accurate map of the situation than you did at the start. This leads to decisions that are more durable and easier to implement because the team has already bought in through the process of being heard. Consider the role of psychological safety once again. A leader who speaks first and dominates the space is inadvertently creating an environment of fear, the fear of being wrong or the fear of disagreeing with the boss. But a leader who uses silence as a tool is sending a message of safety. They are saying, "Your thoughts matter more to me right now than my own voice." This is the foundation of a high-trust culture. It transforms the team from a group of order takers into a group of problem solvers. Small adjustments in how you open a meeting can create this shift. Instead of saying, "Here is my plan," try saying, "Here is the challenge we face. What are the 3 most different ways we could look at this?" Then lean back, literally. Physically leaning back in your chair and closing your mouth is a powerful body language cue that the floor belongs to the team. It is a visual signal of trust. The long-term impact of this approach is a more resilient and independent team. When a leader always provides the answer, the team becomes intellectually lazy. They wait for the leader to tell them what to do. But when a leader consistently speaks last, the team develops their own problem-solving muscles. They become more confident, more proactive, and more capable of handling challenges when the leader isn't in the room. You are essentially coaching them through your silence. In conclusion, the goal of a strategic leader is to be the least important person in the discovery phase and the most important person in the decision phase. By using silence strategically, you ensure that your leadership is based on the best possible information and the strongest possible team buy-in. You aren't losing control, you are gaining a much higher level of influence. So, the next time you are in a meeting and you feel the urge to jump in and solve the problem, take a breath, count to 10, let someone else fill the space. You might be surprised at the brilliance that emerges when you simply get out of the way. Your team has the answers. Your job is to create the silence that allows those answers to be heard. Leadership is a journey of moving from doing to enabling. Strategic silence is the bridge that gets you there. It requires discipline, it requires an ego check, and it requires a deep commitment to the growth of your people. But the results, in terms of decision quality, team morale, and your own personal authority, are well worth the effort. Thank you for being a leader who understands the power of the unspoken. The world has enough noise. It needs more leaders who know how to listen. Start practicing the art of speaking last today, and watch your team's creativity and respect for your leadership reach new heights. The influence you seek is not found in the words you say, but in the space you create for others. That is the secret of the silent strategist, and that is how you build a team that doesn't just follow you, but thrives with you. Take this insight and apply it to your very next interaction. Notice how it feels to hold your tongue. Notice how the energy in the room changes. This is the beginning of a new chapter in your leadership mastery, one where your presence is felt most strongly in the moments when you are most quiet.